Oh, Chiku, no, we can't have you barking. That gets to be a problem. I may have to just manage that for a moment. He sees a car and just goes crazy, you know. Let's see here. All right, great. Hello to everyone on social media and Facebook. Thanks so much for joining us. As you can see, we have some esteemed guests with us today. I'm also going to start the webinar with us. It's recording. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Zoom. We're just going to allow our guests who are joining us on Zoom to start streaming in. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to throw in the chat where you're coming from. We love to see you, we love to hear you, and we love to know where you are in this moment in time and space. I know many of you are joining from all over the world, and it's really gratifying for us to know where you're choosing to join in today from. While you guys throw in the chat, I'm going to try to settle my puppy dog down for a moment. Give me just a second.
Great pillows she's got. Settle her.
Life with puppies. Linda, hello. Hello from Salt Lake. Oh, you want to see the puppy? Well, you know, he could steal the show. It's true. But if he misbehaves, you may get your wish because I may be holding him the whole time. Sarasota, New Jersey, Columbus, Salt Lake. Wow. Vermont. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, welcome. Welcome, everybody. We're so thrilled to have you with us today. My name is Dr. Shamini Jan. I'm the founder and CEO of a nonprofit collaborative called the Consciousness and Healing Initiative. And thank you for all of you who know about Chi, who come and visit us frequently, come to our free webinars and AMA sessions. We're so grateful. You know, the last time that we met, I had asked the question to many of you, how many of you know about our contributorships? And several of you really didn't know about it. So I want to clue you into this amazing opportunity that you have. We're going to be hearing from the wisdom of Donna, Eden, and David Feinstein today. And if you've joined us before, you'll know that they also did a webinar with us earlier in the year, which was really amazing. And every month we have amazing guests like Donna and David. Next month is, I think, Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden after that. Or I might have had those two backwards, but you know, we've had Dawson Church, we've had Dean Radin, we've had so many leaders in the science and practice of healing joining us over the years. And we have saved all of these incredible conversations, as well as over 50 hours of conference presentations from all of these folks, including Deepak Chopra and others, just so you can benefit from that. And what we ask in return is a contributorship, because we're in a, you know, in a giving and receiving economy. We totally believe in that. So we've made our contributorships really, really low level in terms of expense, because we want this to be available to as many people as possible. I want to encourage you, if you haven't joined us as a contributor yet, to please consider doing so. Jason's going to put the link in the chat window, and here's what you get. You'll give, what you'll give is $9 a month. That's it. It's like a cup of a coffee and a half, and I guarantee you're going to get a lot more nutrition and uptake on it. You'll get free access to all of these conversations, slideshows from slide sets. You'll get free monthly meditations in your inbox every month from our leaders in healing to uplevel your own self-healing, and you'll even get the latest science delivered right to your inbox. It's a tax-deductible donation of $100, $108 a year. And I guarantee you'll get so much benefit, and you'll support us so that we can keep doing these things. So I thank you very much for your support. Please do join us as a contributor today if you haven't. Now, with all of that, I am absolutely thrilled that our guests have taken the time to share their wisdom with us. And they really don't need much introduction, because you probably are very familiar with their work. They're both pioneers in the areas of healing science and healing practice. Donna, David, it is so wonderful to be connected with you right now. I'm just so grateful that you're taking the time to join us for this Ask Me Anything session. As you know, we have such an incredible community of healing practitioners and scientists, as well as people that just are ready to dive into the wonderful field of energy, learn more, and learn how they can up-level their healing and the healing of others. It's just such a joy. You both have been involved in healing research and practice for decades, and you're both incredible pioneers. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's really an honor. And I love being with everybody who is just interested or who is already in the field. I'm going to love this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I see a bunch of questions in the QA box already. If you have a question for Donna and David, what we'd love for you to do is just put it in the Q&A. If you're joining us here on Zoom, you'll see a Q&A box on the bottom of your screen. And what we'd like you to do is just tap in there and type in your question, because if you put it in chat, chat goes really fast sometimes and we have trouble finding it. But when you put it into the Q&A, then we can find it easily. So we're going to jump into some questions, but since I have the privilege and honor of being with you both, my first question to you is, how have things been during this pandemic and this time of coming out of pandemic? How have you been? We see you, we see all the great work that you're doing. Any reflections that you might have on this really transitional and transformative time?
Well, I do think it's very transitional. I mean, it's been a really important, surprising time for us, I think. I mean, suddenly our world closed down. We were traveling the world teaching, and suddenly it was all on Zoom. But it's just, I don't have to pack my clothes or unpack them. That was the hardest part in my life, was trying to figure out what to take. And now, so this has been, in some ways, I mean, it was very hard on everybody, COVID. But on the other hand, it's a time to be in your own home, in your own space. And it was very good for me in that way.
With all the troubling things that are happening in the world and in politics, it's really been encouraging to see how quickly consciousness has changed around the simple thing of how we connect to one another.
Yeah.
It's been, for us, amazing that before COVID, we were reaching far fewer people than we are now because of being forced to learn how to use Zoom and how to do programs. And we didn't think we could because it's hands-on work. And at the more advanced levels, it has to be face-to-face, but there's so much hunger out there for just the basic principles, for simple techniques people can use for self-help that can be taught online, that we really shifted our focus because we were forced to, but now it's the way that things are. It's the way that we're going. It's the best way because
it is the best.
It just connects so many more people.
I love that it can be affordable to everybody. It can be affordable. When we used to have to travel the world, I mean, it was expensive for people to get to places, and all of it was more expensive. And now, gosh, it is amazing to me, the feedback we get from every place in the world of people, glad to be learning. So so there was a benefit. There was a benefit, and consciousness must change. And it's not just in our own personal health and healing, but as we were just talking to somebody else this morning on Zoom, and when you heal your own self and body, mind, spirit, soul, it has a reverberation thing that goes out and affects everybody and everything, and is a healing thing for our planet.
It really is, right? Some of us called it the great pause.
The great pause, yes.
Pause.
Yes.
We were actually given that benefit for some of us.
True. Yes.
How am I showing up? Do I need to be doing all the things I'm doing? Is there a better way?
Right.
Is there a more efficient way to reach people and a more cost-effective way to do that for them? And all these blessings.
These blessings.
I do have a question, because you mentioned the work that you do is very much in person, and the advanced parts of it are in person. As you know, I've studied with Rosalind, and one of the things is Rosalind has always been a very hands-on person as well, a hands-on healer. Interestingly, right before the pandemic, the workshop that she felt called to teach us, and that was in person at the time, it was in January of 2020, was on distant healing. And all of her students, we all scratched our head like, huh? Rosalind's teaching distant healing? And she said, I just feel like this is what I need to teach you. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. Long story short, I think, like you, if I could speak for her for a moment, she's been doing more teaching online than she's ever done. She
Yes.
never was interested in that before.
Yes.
One of the things that she mentioned that I know I've experienced personally as well is how much our energy scales, even over this Zoom, right? How connected
Yes.
we feel even in this way.
Yes, it's
And again, it's
really, really true. That's exactly. And we're finding how to teach things we thought we could only teach in person. It's been revelatory how people have said, I got it, I learned it, I'm teaching it. It's been amazing.
When the
It-
pandemic hit, we told all our practitioners that they cannot see people in person, right? Right when the pandemic was starting. And so they got creative and
Yeah.
they started to figure out ways to do one-on-one sessions where they were doing coaching. And we made it very clear, this is not healing. This is coaching. It's teaching you how to do the techniques, but we're not promising that there's healing going on. But guess what? There is healing going on.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything, David, but I'm glad you said it and I didn't say it. 'Cause my
Yeah.
brain was going, huh? Of course there's some healing going on. So we're learning. All of us are learning every day just how
Learning.
powerful this is. I mean, I think for me, that's
Yes.
part of the point is if we're just dipping our toe in the water and we're just learning about this, or if we've been seasoned in this for 50
Yes.
years, the situation is such that we're all learning how powerful this is.
Exactly. I mean, I really know that you never come to the end also of energy healing and energy medicine. You don't get to the end. But this was a big opening.
You're still learning. That's what you're
I'm
saying.
still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. And it's thrilling. And I mean, it is thrilling to know that you can still get more and more and more and more. And it's not a weight, it's a freedom.
Oh, I love that. It's not a weight, it's a freedom. It's so well said. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we have dozens of questions coming in, and I want to honor all of you. I'm so glad that you're here, and we do want to honor your questions. So we'll jump into this, and it's so relevant, I think, to our conversation, actually, this very question that Bernard suggests, which is, would you agree with this statement? Healing is a magical, mysterious process that arises out of the great mystery when systems are coherent and aligned for this to happen.
Oh, yes, that was beautiful. I'd like to steal those words from you because it is. It's like it is magical, and it's a magic that is real. It's a magic that's real, and so yeah, I love it.
And it's so multidimensional. I mean, it happens at the biological level. It happens at a very measurable level. And it also has that outside of what you can predict quality, that magical quality. So it's there at each of those levels.
So true. So true. Well, speaking of, measurable and prediction and things like there's a question from Eduardo here who says, we'd love to listen more about what changes Donna has seen in the last couple of years regarding the energies or color of the earth as a whole. So that's a very specific question here.
Oh.
Did you notice anything? And if so, what does that mean? What does this transition period mean from your perspective?
Okay, now let me say I'm going to be reaching for words because nobody's asked me this, but I have seen amazing differences. I see that the energy around the trees look healthier. And I think it's because, there isn't such a speed that people are running at and that they're back home and calm and maybe walking. I see that we're right here right now in San Diego. And San Diego, many years ago, we lived near San Diego, and it was a very sort of a army green color. and as it's not, it's that energy is shifting. There's a lightness that's come through the air, and it's much more of it's still got green, but a lot of violet energy has come into and and that's more wisdom, and it's a lighter. And people are knowing that consciousness is so important, and that's not the consciousness of just what you're thinking. It's the consciousness of the body, mind, spirit, soul, and the earth and the universe. There's a consciousness everywhere, and you can see it in the energy. We
we've never had this conversation about San Diego, but San Diego has one of the lowest COVID rates in the country. And I wonder if that, wisdom coming in is coming in to other parts of the country that don't have the, where there's less of a consciousness about what to do to really take care of the pandemic.
Yeah, and we're not traveling. We traveled one place and we went to Hawaii, and I loved. It was like I don't know. It felt like early Hawaii for me. Before modernization came into Hawaii, it felt like everything was there was an openness and I don't know, everyone was walking and everybody was, and you didn't see very many cars out there. Mm-hmm. And it was delicious. And that was a very, very raspberry color energy in the field. I love. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You mentioned COVID, and one of Eduardo's next questions, and I think other people probably have this question too, is, have you noticed anything specific about the energy pattern of patients that are struggling with COVID? Or the virus itself? Do you have any sense or any insights around the virus, the way it looks, any differences of this virus compared to others?
It is very different. It is very different. And I haven't seen many people with COVID. I haven't. We've been inside, but I have seen the struggle of friends, when somebody's given me a video of somebody or something. And what I'm about to say, I've never said before. So, and this is not anything in favor of COVID, but everything has an opportunity. And what it looks to me, it had to be a virus that hasn't been before. It might have been lying dormant out there, probably was, but it had to be different so that we had to wake up. We had to wake up and experience it new. And I believe certainly it's changing us all. It's changing us all. And I think one of the things that is interesting about COVID is that it could go in. At first, we thought it was the lungs, and then we thought and realized, oh my God, it can affect the heart. And now they're saying it. And I always suspected this one. It of course affects the spleen. Now the spleen is how we metabolize things or get rid of it. And the spleen is also about loving the self, how much you love yourself. And if that's really activated and strong, then the body learns to metabolize in new ways. So that I suspect that down the road, and I don't know how long, but I suspect our bodies will be able to metabolize and move that on. And I think we're all evolving, and viruses are evolving, and how we can live with a virus.
Yeah, I love that. And I think what you're intimating is that as we generate a freedom of energy through greater self-love, that we'll have strong spleens. I think that's what you're suggesting, and we'll be able to clear things out of the body that don't need to be there.
Yes.
So Eduardo, you sure packed a whole lot of questions in your question. Okay, this is the last one from Eduardo, which is relevant to what you just said. It's almost like he anticipated what you were going to say, Donna, because now he asked, this is before I even started talking with you about any of this, he wants to know about the connection between the vagus nerve and the energies of the spleen.
It's a powerful, powerful connection. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, the vagus nerve is a part of your parasympathetic nervous system. And when you relax and let go, when you love yourself, the vagus nerve works better. The parasympathetic works better when you're not scared, when you're not overwhelmed, when you're not anxious. I mean, the parasympathetic takes over. And so the parasympathetic really does a dance, a figure eight dance with your spleen, with your heart. It can work with anything in the whole body. Oh, it does. But it's magic with the spleen, because they both have the intention of when you love yourself, everything works better. And you give yourself that space and that time, and anxiety and fear go away. Here's it. We got to turn that off. Did I get it?
No.
Love yourself, love your phone.
Honey, throw it
There's
away.
nothing we can do for it.
Okay, I don't want to lose that thought, because this is the most important. When you feel safe, I mean, of course, when you feel safe, the vagus nerve works better, and the spleen works better. Everything in your body works better, because the vagus nerve touches everything. But so we've really had a challenge. How do you feel safe during COVID time? But when you're in your house and you have more time for yourself, and you can do, a sense of safety comes over you, and that is metabolism. It's like it metabolizes things differently than it did before.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. That sense of safety is a protective factor for the vagus in a way, isn't it?
I know you're about to say something, David, but I'm going to say something first. I want to say, when there's safety there's an energy in the body called triple warmer meridian. And triple warmer governs the fight, flight, or freeze response. And a safety makes that triple warmer energy calm, so that there is another side of triple warmer that comes through that isn't about stress. It's about activating your joy, your gladness, your safety, your sense of all is right with the world. And so we do have an opportunity of amazing evolvement right now that I have said for years, if I could evolve one thing on human beings, it would to calm triple warmer down so it can evolve into its more radiant self.
And along with that, to strengthen spleen, because triple
Yeah.
warmer and spleen meridian kind of have this
like a
seesaw.
teeter-totter
Yeah.
thing, because spleen is about, all is well, and there's not any kind of stress in it. It's just.
But when Donna talks about metabolism, it's not just metabolizing food. It is metabolizing food that the spleen is involved with, but it's metabolizing information, metabolizing energy, metabolizing toxins, metabolizing anything that comes your way. So in terms of adjusting to a quickly changing world, the spleen meridian is just so important.
So during this COVID time, of course, we have to evolve so that we can metabolize all of these viruses that our body doesn't know. We've got to.
One more comment about Eduardo. I saw as the chats were coming through that it was Eduardo and Claudia. And
Oh, is it?
Yes, I think it must, because it was a we. So great. Yes.
I thought it couldn't be Eduardo, but he has very advanced questions. Maybe it is. It's somebody we have known but haven't seen in a long time.
So-
Oh,
And
that's
he's a
great.
great energy healer, a great one. And so is Claudia, his wife.
Oh, that's great. Yes, and Eduardo is very advanced because he sent his questions in. He must be a chief contributor because he sent his questions in before we even started. So thank you, Eduardo. Thanks for
That's great.
really great conversation. Lisa has a question around the 9 energy systems that you teach, and which one you think is best to address the nervous system and health issues related to thyroid. And she mentions issues like fasciculations, deadened feeling center, for example, not having any cues of being tired.
Uh-huh. Not having any cues of being tired?
That's what she
Oh,
said, yeah.
okay. Well, there isn't just one, but certainly the meridian system, we were just talking about triple warmer and spleen. I would say that having those two balanced makes the thyroid come alive and work better. The chakra system, each chakra, and certainly the throat chakra feeds. Let me talk about the throat chakra for a minute.
Yeah,
It's
please.
so different. It's so different than all the other chakras. I mean, they all spin in a spiral or wheel and on levels of at least 7 levels out. And they all do that. But the throat chakra, it was considered in ancient times as the holy grail of chakras because it was different. It doesn't just spiral, it has 7 chambers here, 7 chambers that reflect and pull up the energy of all the chakras to get up to the 7th and use them all.
They're bridges.
They're bridges that come through columns and channels. And then there's a figure 8 that crosses like that. And the thyroid has to deal with all of this. So it is no wonder that so many people get into trouble with their thyroid. So it is there. And oh, here's something. The thymus, not thymus. No, what we were just, the vagus nerve. Triple warmer goes around like this down the neck. Well, so does the vagus nerve, comes like this. So it comes right over that too. And the thyroid is just so instrumental in dealing with all these different energies. Let me see, the aura can be very, very affected and affect the thyroid. That it is just a sequence of events when all the energy start getting off or not balanced or not communicating with each other, then it really affects the thyroid.
So you would start with balancing spleen and triple warmer.
Let's see, probably, no, I would probably start with the vagus nerve. Really, okay, I'll give an exercise, okay? Here's an exercise that's good for the entire world. But if you've got a thyroid problem or a throat problem or you've got too much anxiety in your life, this is really good. If you put your hands, close your eyes, and put your fingers over your eyelids, then take one deep breath in. And as you let your breath out your mouth, drag your fingers to your temples. Now here, these points right here, these are triple warmer neurovascular points, which deal with stress and blood. So take one deep breath in and out here. Now take a deep breath in and go up over your ears, go around your ears, and then flatten your hands and come on your vagus nerve and come down to your heart chakra. And just sit here. And you're gonna, as you let your breath out, you come home to yourself. And when you have done that, it brings safety and ease and everything in your body literally calms and balances. So it's just an excellent thing to do. I call that the triple warmer smoothie.
I love it. Triple warmer smoothie. So we start here.
Yes.
We go to the temple.
Here.
We come down the
Go around your ears. Go
around the ears.
ears.
Around the ears.
Flatten your hands and come down into your heart chakra. And stay there as long as it feels right. Yeah. So I mean, that's a quick meditation and you can have it quick.
So in your view, one of the questions Lisa has, who asked the question about the thyroid, is she's wondering, even if someone's been on medication for thyroid for like 30 years, in your experience, is it possible to get off of it? Have you ever heard of anybody being able to get off of medication for thyroid?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Many people, and what I have watched, because people report when we were up front with everybody, I had people in classes when we'd touch on the thyroid, and people would come back to the next class, they'd say how their medication has come down. And I'm glad this question came up because I want to tell people, if you are on medication, take it slow down. If you find that and the doctor is saying, well, gosh, you don't need this strong, we can take it down. Just trust Western medicine there, because the body gets used to medicine and it becomes a habit in the body, and you want to take it down slow. But I have known a lot of people who have taken it down and gotten off of it completely.
Wow, that's great. Beautiful. Yeah. So slow and steady wins the race. You don't want to just.
Yes, yes, slow and steady. Yes.
And in consultation with your physician.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So the next question is from Estelle, who says, she's studying Eden Energy Medicine, and she notices that she has magnet sensitivity. And she said she's heard that some practitioners say if you conduct a session when you're magnet sensitive, it's equivalent to not being grounded and not being sturdy. So her question is, can an Eden Energy Medicine practitioner be an effective, competent practitioner if she is magnet sensitive?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And see, what would I say? On yourself, I don't know if you use a spoon to work on the bottom of your feet or not, but I'm going to say, get yourself a stainless steel spoon and just on the rounded side of the spoon, just up and down or figure eight it on the bottom of your feet to help your energies pull down and other energies pull up. You want the yang energies to go down and the yin energies to come up, and you can start getting your body more less sensitive to magnets. Now, you're probably going to always be sensitive to magnets, but it won't be so much that it'll overwhelm you. I want to say that nobody was more sensitive to magnets than me at one time. And I really learned to use them on myself first, and then work with them with people. But it really, really helped me in time to find, okay, how, and I would experiment. I wish I had one here. I'd bring it up, but there, let's see, can you still get these magnets that I'm talking about?
You can.
Okay, little round circle magnets with a hole in them. It has a hole, and they're not super powerful. We used to get them at Radio Shack and they used them on instruments. Well, I found that whatever is the goss on that, who knows, but it isn't super strong. It's just enough to move your own energy. And what I had to do when I was really, really sensitive, I could not. In the 90s, I went through about 2 or 3 years of not being able to sleep at night. Or I take that back. I'd go to sleep and I'd be awoken in the middle of the night around 2 to 3 in the morning with electricity coming up through my body. And it was the electromagnetic energies of the earth. And I was too sensitive to everything. And we really did everything we could until somebody helped us I tape magnets to the bottom of my feet, and just at night, so all right, so the energy from the earth, which is the south, is going north. So I would want to stop that energy at night. So I'd turn the magnet so that I'd have two norths hitting each other.
They repel it.
And then my body learned not to take that in. I was just super sensitive to everything, and I had to learn it. And now I love helping people with magnets, because if you can spin a magnet, you can put a little piece of dental floss through that hole and let it spin, and you can strengthen your own aura by spinning in and out with a magnet, because it takes.
Oh, how interesting!
It electromagnetically takes your own energy out into your field, and it makes your field stronger, and that reflects on your body, and it affects your energy levels, everything, but it affects everything that you touch out there afterwards.
That's so interesting. That's making me think of some of the work that we've done with a healing practitioner. I don't know if y'all have met her yet, Eileen McCusick, who does a lot of work.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yes.
Around the body. And, she has a process called columning and combing after they determine what the perturbation is, and they kind of help clear the field. they do a columning and combing process to bring that energy in. In her way, she brings it into the central channel, right? And
Yes,
and
yes.
allows it to release that way. We actually, just as an aside, we will share this with y'all when it's published, but we did a wonderful study with her looking at her approach for anxiety during the pandemic with some really profound effects. So
Aha.
so excited for us to publish that data. It was just a feasibility study with 15 folks, but it was incredibly powerful results that we
Oh,
saw.
that's great. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I cannot say enough. You're going to get results. You're going to know it in yourself. You won't have to question, well, does anybody else feel this? I mean, you're going to know it. You're going to know it. And bringing the energy into the central line is really, really valuable because we have a meridian that goes straight up the body called central meridian. It's also called the conception vessel, but it's also something else. Let's see. Central and governing goes up. Governing goes up the spine. Central goes up in the front. And when they connect at the back of your throat, it creates a microcosmic orbit that goes around your body, and it will go in either direction that your body needs to start balancing you out. And it's very powerful, and you are suddenly more aligned with everything. And not only does your energies work better, but your brain works better, and it is a calming thing.
Wow.
Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
We love Eileen. She's been with us quite a few times. So in the center of the body, okay, I'm going to use this. I'll tell you a story about me because this is how I learned about it. I did not know about this beforehand. But in the 90s, when I was going through that, when I was so super sensitive, I mean, I got to the point where I didn't even have an aura. That's why I learned to use the magnet to spin it out. But and we lived in Ashland, Oregon, and the town is half the town are healers, healing the other half. David, get rid of that phone. The phone goes. And
Healers healing healers. I like it.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. It's over there.
Okay, yeah, get rid of it, David. But so people, I didn't want to say, I knew not everybody could see energy, and I didn't want to announce to everybody I didn't have an aura anymore. But I knew I didn't, and I wasn't, and so that I was suddenly susceptible. I had a very full-time practice, and I was very susceptible suddenly to picking up people's energies, their illnesses, everything, because I didn't have this protection around me, and I know energy and didn't know what to do for myself. But I knew that I also thought, but it's so strange. Somehow I'm not dying or anything. I wonder what's going on. And we had let's see, do you remember who Rajneesh was?
Yes.
Yes. Well, Rajneesh, his doctor came through town, and somebody said, acupuncturists would say, well, you don't even have a pulse. You don't have a pulse. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, nobody could find my pulse. And so this doctor came through town, and he came over to my house, and he said the same thing. Well, I don't get this. You don't have a pulse. Well, anyway, here's what started happening. I started noticing, because I couldn't rely on the energy things that I normally relied on. I realized that there was an energy that goes straight up and down the very center of my body. And it was a pole, like a pole that went straight up high and down to the earth, because I was really grounded. And now this is my own hit on it. And I've now learned what it was called, because that's how usually people find it. They're in a time that they could die, or maybe they're not supposed to die yet. And so something will hold them here, them, stretch heavens and earth. But it's called the Taji pole. And now I've learned how to work with it when you're not sick. And it's an amazing, amazing energy that can broadcast good things out of you, could pull things into you from way, way out into the universe. And it's amazing. And I realized, I don't say this very often, but I'm going to say it now. I don't say this because, but as long as I've known David, he's always been kind of a grounding tool for me, so that if I want to go astral traveling, he's just the anchor on one side, and I know that I can go anywhere and come back. Well, now I know that part of the reason why I so easily astral travel is that I'm very connected in with this Taji pole. And anyway, I don't know if that answered anything that you wanted.
This is actually perfect, because one of the questions Nushin had asked was, what did you do to heal yourself? Can you please tell me exactly what you did to heal yourself, Donna? So, but you gave us some indication here, and I really appreciate you sharing that story and that experience with us, because I didn't know that. I mean, I know about your initial history with MS and all the things that you did, but to know that even you, as such a well-versed, practical healer, this can happen to all of us, is the point. Like, there's nothing to do with
happen all your life. You're gonna have.
We're all going to go through different health issues, times of a life where we're not sure whether we're meant to stay in this form or not. And how neat that you actually had this discovery.
It was an amazing thing. I didn't have the name for it. I was teaching a class somewhere, and it was a very large audience, and I found myself telling the story of what happened to me and how I moved beyond my ultra sensitivity to magnets, and I said, does anybody else know about that thing that hooks you to the heavens and the earth? And there was a woman in the class. She said, "You're talking about the Taji pole." And so out of her culture, it was very well known.
Wow, that's beautiful. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I relate to you, noticing the grounding force in your partner, because I definitely also have that experience. And it's a beautiful thing that they help us do, that we can do with our partnerships, is to balance each other in ways.
I just want to say one other thing to the original question about the aura being weak. And she asked if that means that she shouldn't do this work. And it's really just the opposite. It's that you have a sensitivity that you want to cultivate and prize, and know that that's one of your great strengths. And there's extra reason to really learn how to stay grounded, to really learn how to keep your aura strong and to deal with the magnetic sensitivities. But I can tell you, as the grounding force here, that it's a lot easier to strengthen where you're sensitive than it is to get to that other side wherever Donna goes when she astral travels. We've been together 44 years, and I still don't have a clue of how she does that.
Although I will say one thing about David: if he gets up early in the morning, he sure feels the muses coming in. So he gets something good too.
Yes, that's beautiful. So Nushin has another question, and I know that thank you so much for all your questions, and I can't believe how quickly the time is passing. It's incredible. So I apologize that we're not going to probably get to all of the questions. I mean, we've got dozens of them here, but I'm doing my best, and we are kind of going in order, and we're honoring those of you who are contributors who have asked these questions early as well. Nushin has a specific question about his sister, and he says that she has MS and her left leg hurts a lot. He introduced her to some of your exercises like triple warmer, neurolymphatic reflex points, the hookup, Celtic weave, spleen hug, and she does these exercises twice a day. And she says she's getting better thanks to you. And he wonders if you have anything or more that you would add to help her walk without pain.
Okay, I have to know. His name is Nushin. What's his name?
Nushin, yeah. And he's with us live, I believe. I think I saw him come
Nushin, I don't know if you have a book, an energy medicine book of mine, because there are diagrams in there, because I want to point you to a diagram, 2 diagrams, okay? Her left leg, I don't know if it's her whole leg or if it's her upper leg or her lower leg, but for me, it was my upper legs was the beginning of me getting well on MS. It was my upper legs, and it was my thighs. And what I can tell you is that the thighs are on small intestine meridian. that doesn't sound, might not make sense, but they are on small intestine meridian because, I mean, the meridian is named for the organ it travels through, but it also travels through a whole lot of muscles and every other place in your body. So if you are, I don't know, Google it or something, find the small intestine. I'll tell you where they are, but you're going to have to look at it on a graph or something. But nobody can see me, so I'm going to just tell you: take one hand and lay it on top of your knee, and where the middle finger, do it sort of to the side of the knee, on the outside side, and see where your middle finger reaches. Okay, and the other hand, put it below your elbow and put your middle finger right below your elbow in line in between the fourth and fifth fingers. And hold it, have her hold those for, 3 to 5 minutes, just sitting there, not pushing or anything, but firmly, but not pushing. And just hold it that way. And then you would move to the second points, which is on the side of the baby toe in the little indent, where it indents on the side.
I feel that.
There. And then the other one is right there. And you're going to hold those two together. And so you're hooking up. The first thing you did was you hooked up a small intestine with stomach. And the next one is you're hooking up small intestine with the bladder meridian. And it moves the energy. It helps the energy to move. Now, that's if it's in the upper legs. And she'd hold those points that long. And so if that happens to be in a different place, make sure you get a diagram or go and get energy medicine or get it from the library.
Those are strengthening points for.
No, they're sedating points
for what?
Small intestine.
For small intestine. So in Donna's book, there are strengthening points and sedating points for every one of the meridians. And so the way to do the detective work is to find where the pain is, and then look at the charts to see which meridian is going through that area, and then find in chapter 4 the sedating points for that meridian and hold those. And it gives instructions of how to do that. There's other places to get that information as well. But
and of course, if it's just that your leg is weak, but she said it was sore. Did she say it hurt?
Yeah, it hurt, but the what he's doing with her based on what he's learned from you is helping, and that
but she needs specific. Yeah, so hold those points or look on those charts and see which muscles on her are weak and hurting and sedate them. It sounds funny to sedate. You would think you'd want to strengthen, but wherever you've got pain, you usually have too much energy and you want to move it along so it just keeps moving, because energy is healthy when it moves.
That's great. And Jason's just put a link to the chat, to the book, in case.
Thank you.
So there's the link to the book is in the chat window right now, if anybody wants to jump in and pick it up if you don't have it.
Okay.
Yeah, also on our website, there's a health question and answer section, and there's 4 questions there about MS and working with it. And so you could go there. It's just learnenergymedicine.com and go to resources, health Q&As, and then go to the MS section.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So speaking of all of this and the meridians and triple warmer, Robert has the question, does Donna, what you see align with the way that Chinese medicine describes the meridian and triple warmer, or are there variations? And then he wants to know if practices like Qigong, such as microcosmic orbit, work in a way similar to the energy medicine practices.
Oh, thank you. First of all, there's, I mean, energy is energy. You're not going to really have contradictions, but I didn't learn the meridians and the energy systems from studying them, so it's just that I had to heal myself, and I found them on my body. And so what I do find,
and also that you see the energies.
Yeah, I never like that when he says that, because the truth is, I don't want anyone to think that I'm special because I see energy. It's just not accurate. I do believe that we all see energy when we're born, And that, but if you live in a culture that nobody keeps it alive in, it just goes dormant by the time you're a year old. So, and I had a mother who didn't, I mean, she just kept talking about it. So I have a brother and a sister who see energy, and they are not in the healing field at all. And so, but what was I saying?
You were.
Oh, and do I see it like the Chinese?
Yeah.
So what I see is sometimes on a Chinese meridian chart, the point will be in a particular place, and I'll know that people's energies are unique to them. You know, your energy is as unique as a thumbprint. So your that point on you might be a little bit different. It might not be in the exact same spot. So I tell people when they work on themselves, use several fingers, because your energy might be a little different.
I love that. It's dynamic, right? Ever moving, and I love what you're helping us understand that our energy to some degree is unique, and so we can look at a map, and those maps are definitely useful. They give us a guidepost, but then we kind of, it sounds like you're saying we got to kind of feel into it a
You
little.
you do. This is your energy, and it's like I've all my life I'd see chakra charts or books, and they'd have the exact color, or an aura field, the exact color. Well, I never see it like that. I don't. I see that every person has different colors in every band around their aura, and their chakras are different because they reflect you. They are your energy, and so it can't be what is, staple in a book. But you can use the maps, as you say, and the maps give you great indication of things.
And you have to realize that the maps are averages.
Yeah.
So any one point is an average. That's the only way you can draw a chart, you have to choose a point to get it on the chart. The other thing I want to say real briefly is that Donna not only sees triple warmer points in the weights that she sees them, but also that she sees triple warmer as a much more important energy system than is usually found in any of the writings that we've seen. That she sees it as being responsible for fight, flight, and freeze response. She sees it as being responsible for deeply embedded health-related habits. And so it's got a lot of dimensions. It's also got a radiant circuit component.
It's not just health-related habits. I mean, whatever habits of your behavior and your responses to things and how you see it, those are triple warmer has embedded and holding on to that. That's why it's so hard for people to change when they want to change, because triple warmer has an investment in you staying the same. Because now just listen to the logic of triple warmer for a minute. The logic is that's kept you alive. That habit has kept you alive. Yes. And so it doesn't have an incentive for you to change. So, but when you change, triple warmer changes too, to realize, it gets softer and not so absolute, anxiety and fears. You don't want that in a part of your life. So it really is helpful to.
This is great. It really leads into the question that Annette said, which is, what's your latest advice on quelling triple warmer and triple warmer, I can't even say it right now, triple warmer sensitivity?
Okay. I'm just, who knows where this is going to lead, but I'll say, I have found that people have a harder time using their brains to make triple warmer calm down, because their brains, unless they're extraordinary meditators, out of nowhere, they'll have a response that they didn't expect to have. So I have always done it with energy. I teach people all these different energy techniques that help them calm down. David is a genius in energy tapping, and tapping helps triple warmer take on new knowledge, new understanding, new flows, and so that the fight, flight, or freeze response just calms, and it moves the habits out.
Right, but the question was partially what is new in how you work with it, and the truth is that what we put in the book Energy Medicine Chapter 8, almost 25 years ago, is still whole. So that chapter on triple warmer steam balance, those techniques are the ones that Donna still teaches.
I mean, it has gone on, but that is a chapter that tells
the
you
core.
that's the core.
So would you say that system, or is there, this is Lisa's question, is um, when you see the nervous system energetically, are there particular ones of your 9 energy systems that relate most to the nervous system? And what would
Okay,
you recommend if you wanted to harmonize the nervous system in particular?
I would definitely work with your vagus nerve. Definitely work with your vagus nerve, but governing meridian goes up your spine. So really just pulling the energy up the spine very slowly and going in between the vertebrae and things is really good for your nervous system. Going down your spine, right next to the spine, is bladder meridian. And in many cultures think that one governs your nervous system. I see it as a very important part of your nervous system. And so learning you can flush your meridians, which means I'll just take a simple meridian. I don't know. Can anybody see him? Let's see.
Yes.
Okay. So here is the correct way, the forward way to trace lung meridian. I want to flush it. So to clear it out a little bit, I'll go backwards on lung meridian once and then forward 3 times. You can do that on any meridian, and it's really good for your nervous system. And then just come here and just hold your neck, the sides of your neck, or the back of your head is very good also for your vagus nerve. I would say, doing the daily energy routine is incredibly good because it balances all the systems, all 9 systems. And if you can go on the YouTube and just put in the day and Donna Eden's daily energy routine.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, do that every day. And for me, when I was getting strong and healthy from multiple sclerosis, I couldn't live without that daily energy routine because it balanced all the systems. And since every system responds and relates to every other system, you've got to get them really communicating and talking to each other. And that's what does it, is the daily energy routine.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, the both of you are like just such a treasure trove of goodness and information and healing. And we always have more questions than we have time for answers. I know many of the people joining are your students, and they all say hi, sending love from Australia, different places around the world. Gratitude for you sending your teacher out there to Australia. I read that in the chat.
Yes.
Really wonderful. And I know that many people probably know about you and your work, but for anybody who might have just been joining us today who don't know about all of the different wonderful things that you continue to offer and that you have offered for so long, where can they go to learn more about you guys and your work?
A really good start is to go to edenmethod.com, and there's a free 1-hour class that you can take. That is a really nice introduction to Donna's work. And then from there, you can take more advanced classes as well. And
there's a million YouTube tubes out there you can just go to. There's another thing you can.
It's not actually a million, but it's 400.
Okay. Another thing is my kids, my 2 daughters and I, when we were traveling all the time, wherever we went in the world, we'd give a Wednesday energy minute, and we'd teach an exercise every Wednesday, and we'd say, so from London, England, da, 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 and so you can go on to the energy,
also it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube too. All right.
It's on Facebook and YouTube.
But look for us on Wednesdays.
There are hundreds of them.
Wednesdays. I love the Eden Energy Minutes on Instagram. I see them and I just love them. Well, first of all, it's just a joy burst. I just love it, all of you. And the one that you just did at Esalen was so much fun. I looked at it and I thought, that looks like Esalen. And indeed it was. It was Esalen. Yeah, do tune into the IG channel and check out those Wednesday Energy Minutes. They're so fun. And we put some links in the chat. Also, thank you for those of you who are asking. We so appreciate, Nada and others saying, where can we support you? Where can we donate to the Consciousness and Healing Initiative so that we can continue to have these wonderful conversations and spread them and broadcast them broadly and widely. So we've put those links in the chat. You simply go to the donate page. If you're not familiar with Qi, do dive in. We've got so many resources, including tons of science resources and practice resources, all free, YouTube channels with incredible conversations as well. And more to come. I'm sure of that. And it's going to be wonderful when we can all gather in person as well.
Yes.
But so grateful for the abilities to connect all together worldwide on a platform like this. So, so grateful. And so grateful for your time with us today, Donna and
Oh,
David. Thank you so much.
thank you for giving us that that opportunity to connect up with people and to share. You know, if I have one, I have this wish in the world is that everybody know that they can heal themselves and that they are not stuck. And the more you learn about energy medicine, the more you learn what to do.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody.
We share that desire, that hope, and with all of us coming together, our dreams will come true.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.